Hi guys. So we left off at the add block feature in the previous video. So we are going to take it up from there. And if we take a quick look at our application, it had a few common rooms, and it had ability to create a private room and ability to add topics. So awesome topic. So that was where we left off our application. Now what we want to do is allow users to block other specific users so that they cannot see their messages, or so right now the only way to talk to a user in private is by creating a private room and sending them the URL. But if so, now in our case, if a user John creates a private room and sends that link to Jack, uh, Jack John can only talk to Jack if Jack opens that URL. But if he doesn't, then he won't be John won't be able to talk to Jack. So in this case, a block feature might not really be needed because a person cannot contact you directly. Uh, so one thing which we can do is, let's say I'm in the common lobby, and there are a couple of users here, right? So my name is Khaja here, right? So hey guys, let me spam this chat room. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm spamming this chat room, and other users will all the other users will see my messages, right? So if I say here is my ad, then everyone will be able to see my messages. So that is kind of annoying, right? So maybe we should allow users to mute other users so that they won't see messages from the muted users. So it's kind of a block feature. So let's see how we can do it. Now, if my so what am I here? My name is Jack in the above pane, right? In my browser, and I want to block Khaja. So I should be able to click on this guy and then block him, right? So that I won't be able to see his messages. Now, one way to do this is I can store all the users which Jack has blocked in a database table. But the easier thing to do here is just store them in an agent. And so one problem with that, again, that's not the right way to do it, but we'll just do it because it's easier here, and we just want to see how to block users, and this will suffice. But the right way to do this is to store it in some kind of persistent storage, which is mostly your database, right? So you would say username Jack, right? User ID Jack. So we would have a table called muted users or blocked users, which would have a user ID and a blocked user ID. So this user ID would be the user ID of Jack, and this user ID would be the user ID of Khaja. And if Jack wants to block another user, then we would have another row which is Jack is the user ID and the blocked user is spammy guy, right? So that way we can have it persisted, and whenever we want to see if this user is, whenever we want to see which users Jack has blocked, then we can do it. But with an agent, if you restart the server, then all our data is gone, right? Because it's stored in memory. So All right, so with that out of the way, let me actually start a timer too. So with that out of the way, what we want is we want to store mappings between user ID and blocked user ID. And since we don't have user IDs, we're just going to do with usernames, right? So these are the things I want to store. And one user can have multiple blocked users. So we'll store it as a map where we'll have Jack is gonna have an array of blocked users like Khaja and spammy guy and so on and so forth, right? So this way we can store all our required information. So to create an agent, we can save it in the lib folder, and we can create an agent called blocked users. I think I actually started this the last time around, but let's see. So what we want is we want an agent called blocked users, and from our previous code, we need to start the agent as soon as we start Elixir, as soon as we start our Phoenix application, right? So we can put that code in our endpoint. So in our endpoint, we can, is it in the endpoint? It doesn't seem like that. So it's in our chat application module. So yeah, so here we need to add a supervisor for chat blocked. So what's the name of this module? Blocked users, right? So blocked users. So we are going to create another supervisor for blocked users. So this makes sure that whenever we start our application, it's gonna call the start link method on blocked users. And all we're doing here is creating a named agent, and the convention is if you have an agent, you can use the special keyword underscore underscore module underscore underscore, and that would evaluate to this atom because that's the current module. So this is just a nice way of avoiding magic strings, because you know, if you just say underscore underscore module, that's going to give you the current module name. So we are starting an agent here, just like we did with our topics, right? So in our topics, we started an agent, right? So that's what we're doing. Now the API for this is going to be we need a way to block a user, right? So for this, we need the current user name and the blocked username, right? So once we have that, what we need to do is we need to call agent dot update, and the name of the agent is module. And what are we going to do? We're going to add our blocked user to this map. So and actually what we need here is we need a new map, right? So we need a new map as the initial state, an empty map, and whenever we add a new entry to the blocked users, what we need to do is we need to get the current map entry, right? So the way we get that is say map current username, right? So now this needs to be an array, all right? So the way, so let's even define our data structure here, right? So this is going to be a map containing our username with a list of blocked user 1 and blocked user 2 and so on, right? And this is how our map is going to be. So initially, when we get the current usernames map before he has any user blocked, this is going to be nil. So if it is nil, we want to get a new list, right? And that is our current blocked users list. And all we want to do now is um, update the blocked users list. So now blocked users list is going to be the blocked username plus the current blocked users list, right? So what we're doing here is this is going to give us A, B, right? Or user 1 and user 2. And what we're doing here is we're saying we have, so if the blocked username is B1, so this is going to be B1, U1, U2, right? So nothing fancy, right? And now finally we are going to update. How do we update a map? Say map dot update. So all we have to do is just map dot put the username, the current username, and we need to put the new list instead of the old list, right? So that's the blocked users list, and that should do it, right? So now our map should have the blocked username in our list, right? And finally, so this is how we block a user. And finally, I want to know, so I need a method which tells me is a user blocked, right? Is a user blocked by the current user, right? So let's say, so this is a method which I'm going to use when I want to know if I need to show Khaja's message in Jack's chat, right? So what should we call this? Is user blocked, or I can just say user blocked, right? And current username and the other username, right? So this is the username who's gonna send us that message, right? So user blocked, current user is our user and username is the user which we're testing for, right? So message from, right? So that seems like a better name. Now what we need to do here is we need to get the current state, right? So that's the current map, and what we want to do is from the current map we need to get all the list of blocked users for this user. So current username, right? So this is our blocked users, right? And actually let's just put this here, blocked users, right? So that is all the blocked users in our list, and this may be empty, right? So let's say this or an empty array, and all we need to do is we need to say is the message from, is that user in the blocked users list, right? If it is, then it means this guy is blocked. So what we're doing here is we're saying message from is right, spammy guy, right? Is that in our list of user 1, user 2 blocked users? If it is, then this is going to be true, right? So this means this user is blocked, right? So not difficult concept here. So I'm gonna quickly open up a new console and just show you how this works. Map.x, and so this is actually okay. So let's say I have a list of names, right? So A, B, and if we check out what this evaluates to, right? So we're just checking if A is in L, it is true. But if I say X is in L, that's gonna be false, right? So that is good, and that's how that works. And now let's actually test out this API, right? So the way to do that is I'm gonna open up an IEX console, and there's a problem here. Line number 8 says block, yeah, there's a typo there. Blocked users, right? What? So undefined function block users on line number 18. So yeah, same typo. So now let's alias chat dot blocked users, and if we want to check blocked users, user blocked, right? So initially no one is blocked, right? So let's say I have Khaja, right? So this is Jack, yeah. So I'm Jack. I want to see if Khaja is blocked, and undefined method. Okay, we have a lot of typos today. So this says it's Jack. When we're checking if Jack has blocked Khaja, we're saying no, he hasn't, because there's nothing in our agent. So what we'll do is we'll say block this user, right? So I'm Jack and I want to block Khaja, and there's a problem there. It says undefined function map put. So map put is not a function. So map put is a function, and it takes a map. Whoa, we forgot the map, right? So we forgot the map. So it takes a map, it takes a current username, right? And it takes the key and it takes the value, right? So yeah, that's a problem. And now again, chat.blocked users, block user. So Jack wants to block Khaja, and it says okay. And now if you want to check if that worked, the way we need to check it is user blocked, right? So we want to see Jack is blocked Khaja. That says true. And if we say if Jack has blocked spammy guy, it says false because we haven't done that. So this seems like it's working as expected. Now what we need to do is actually use it, right? So now we need to go to the UI and somehow allow Jack from above to click on Khaja and block him, right? So we can probably add a small link here, which allows them to block this user, right? So let's do that, right? So it's not going to be pretty, but that should work. So we need to go to the room show UI, and actually that's not what's rendering it. We need to go to the socket.js file and update our template here, right? So our template here shows the username, and we also want to add ability to block this user. So we need a link, right? So we'll say block. That's the text for the link, and it's gonna be a anchor tag which is gonna take us to block, right? So we'll say user slash block slash user slash, and what's the username here? Message dot username, right? So this is what's going to happen. We have href user message username block, right? So when we click on that, it should block our user. And why is there a problem? Yeah, we need to restart our server because we updated our lib folder. So let's do that. And all right, so now we have the chat lobby, and let's allow Khaja to say a new ad here. And now we have a link to block a user. So if I click on that, it should block Khaja, right? And so we need that route, yeah. So go to router and add a route. This should ideally be a uh, post route, but just for ease, we're gonna just use a get route, because anything which changes data should should definitely be a post request, not a get request, um, because otherwise other agents like search engines, they might start crawling these links. So search engines don't crawl posts, they crawl get links. And if somehow they get access to our lobby and they start crawling each block link, all those users will be blocked. I mean, in this case, it's not going to affect much, but if you had something like a delete message button, and if the crawler crawled all the delete message links, that would delete all your messages. So anyway, um, back to our routes. We need a user, and this is the username and block. This route is going to go to the user controller, the user controller's block action. And we don't have a user controller, so we need to create it in web controllers, user controller, and def module, yeah, the usual chat web controller. And we need an action here called block, which takes a parameter called username, which we need, and it also needs the current username. So we should send even the current username. Now, uh, all right, so this is the blocked username, and for now we'll just do it the easy way. We'll add a current username. Obviously, this is not the right way to do it, but in a proper application, you would have authentication for this block controller, and you would have access to the current user. But since this is this hasn't been fleshed out, we'll come back and fix this code later. But for now, I'm just gonna send the current username. Okay, so current username, and all this guy has to do is call our chat dot blocked users dot uh, block user, right? And what's the current user's name? That's the current user's name, and this is the blocked user's name, right? And this should do it. And once this is done, we can redirect this guy to the lobby. So I'll just redirect them to the lobby, and don't forget to pass the connection, right? So that should do it, really. Let's refresh this top pane, room lobby, right? And let us send a few messages. Okay, so this guy is not in the lobby, so let's go to the lobby, say test, and if I click on block, it says bad request, no matching action. Okay, yeah, so one thing we didn't do was send a current username. So if you look at the query string, if you look at our logs, we have a username, but we don't have a current username. So we need to fix that in our JavaScript. So go to socket.js and make sure that our block link also has a parameter called current username. Okay, and that's gonna be the username which we have from above. Okay, so this is from here, so this is the username which of the current user, right? So that's what we're sending here, right? So that should fix it. And gonna refresh the lobby here, and refresh it here, and send another message. And if we look at the link here, you can see at the bottom here it says the link is user Khaja block, current username is Jack, right? So that's good. and it it didn't show us anything. But if you look at our logs, you can see we had a request for get user Haja block with the current username this, and then we redirected this guy to the lobby, right? So um, so this guy should be in our block lists. Now finally, when we now this guy can still send messages, right? These messages are still being shown to Jack. Now we need to write the final piece of this puzzle, right? So the place where we can do this is in the room channel. So if we go to the room channel, or is it the room channel, right? So if we go to this room channel, Phoenix channels give you another method to intercept outgoing messages called handle out, and handle out has a similar signature to I think it has a similar signature to the Phoenix channel. Let's quickly check the documentation. So handle out takes a message type, a message, and a socket, right? So it's same really. So message type is message, and we'll just take the body as it is and the socket as it is, right? So another thing we need to do here is we need to say I want to intercept messages of type message, right? So now whenever there is a message of type message going out to all the channels from the Elixir side, from the Phoenix side, it's going to call the handle out message, handle out function. And here we can check if we want to handle this, the way we want to handle this, right? So here, if you look at an example code here, it says for every socket, we are appending this. But what we can do here is we can push out the message, or we can just do nothing, right? So what we need to do here to get our old functionality working is we need to say push socket, our message, and our body, right? So this is what we should do to make it function like previously, right? Like it did before. So now what we want to do here is we need to check, should I filter this message, right? We need to ask ourselves, should I filter this message? And here we can check if chat.blocked users dot user is blocked, right? If what's my current username? It is socket assigns username. That's my current username. And if our if this other guy is blocked from this user, we shouldn't push this message. If this guy isn't blocked, then we should push the message, right? So if the other guy is not blocked, we need to push this message. Now, how do we get the other guy's username? So that's not clear here. So we have the current username. Now the message, okay, the message has the username of our guy, right? So we can get that by pattern matching on username, and so that is the sender, right? So this is the sender of the message. So what we can do here is we can say, is this sender blocked from my my channel? I mean, from me. I mean, have I blocked this sender? And if I haven't blocked, then I should just see this message. Otherwise, I shouldn't see this message. So let's restart this, and I'm gonna send a test message here. Test. And now you see I can't send any messages. Well, what what's happening here? So if we look at the logs, there's an error here. It says handle out. Did we handle out? Handle out has a problem. And what's that problem? Okay, yeah, so we are, so this is a small issue. Our message uses a symbol for username, and we used a string here, so that's a mismatch. Symbols are not strings, so that should fix it, right? Let's refresh this page and this page, and I'm sending a test message, and if you see, this guy Jack is not receiving our messages. Now I'm gonna open another browser here, uh, Chrome. Let's open up Chrome, and if we go to this lobby, and if I say I am Jane, and I send hey guys, I send messages. Jane's messages are getting through, but Khaja's messages, hey guys, again, message to Jane, right? So Khaja's messages are getting through to Jane, and Khaja sees that his messages are being sent properly, but Jack doesn't get messages from Khaja because Jack has blocked Khaja, right? So it's really nice how we got this done so quickly. So Phoenix provides very powerful channels, and the handle out method is how you can intercept messages and do whatever you want with those messages. You can even you can add more information to these messages in the handle out, or you can filter them, but this is a very nice and uh, tidy knot. So that's it for this episode. um, we'll cover other stuff in a later episode.